Hi, MJ here, and I thought I would make another video. It feels like time, right? And partly I want to make this video to help just clear up any confusion around the juice fasting and food choices and some of that thing. There's so much information, and I know it can get overwhelming, and so before I go into it and share a little bit of what I've learned in my journey and that I found really, really valuable, I'd like to share with you. But before we do that, I would like to invite you to, wherever you are, just to sit back in your chair. If you're sitting on your chair, get your feet on the ground and just lengthen up through your spine. Shoulders relax. If you need to do some circles, lengthen up through the crown, drop the chin slightly, palms facing up. And just close your eyes nice and softly and take a few nice deep breaths. And just allow the busyness of the day just for a moment just to slip away as you take another deep breath. Allowing the abdomen to rise on the inhale and softly fall on the exhale. Noticing the ribs expand on the inhale, filling the lungs up a little bit more with each and every breath, allowing that expansion to occur. And exhaling, just softening your sit bones into the chair or the cushion a little bit more, and lengthening up through the crown, creating spaciousness through the spine, shoulders relaxed, and just allowing the leg muscles to relax, the ankles, the feet, the hips, shoulders, allowing the facial muscles to relax, bringing your attention there, and just allowing the body, the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, the bones even, just to get heavy and relaxed. As you continue to breathe in and out, so that should feel dropping you more into your body. So as I speak, I would like to invite you, as you open your eyes and come back a little bit, to listen with your heart and your body as much as listening with your mind and your intellect. And when we take those breaths, as I've explained, it just helps drops us into our body and drops us into our heart, so then we can listen with the fullness of who we are, rather than just with the mental mind. So then we have all of it. We can listen to not just the words that I share, but the energy behind my words. Okay. So I have a little note in my pocket with things that I don't want to forget. I want to include in this. So I'm going to put that on my lap. Okay, so I've been sharing information about the juice fasting and the foods and videos and the superfood compared to the empty foods or the junk foods, and really that's all great information, and it is important to educate ourselves and to be open to new ideas and new ways of looking at food, and that's just one area of life and every area of life. However, what I would like to share with you on this video is my own learning process that occurred when I say that, growing up in Ireland, I'm sure you're well aware that Irish people are pretty good at drinking, and it's part of our culture, it's part of our nature, everybody does it, it's all very jolly, it's all very There's not a lot of negativity around drinking in Ireland. You know, it's a bit different, I think, in New Zealand. It can be. So culturally, we're brought up to be really good drinkers. And it's recognised as a happy place, a happy space to be drinking. So, like most Irish people, I became a good drinker. And I knew very little about health. And it was really when I went travelling in India and places like that, and seeing other ways to look at life and perspectives and religions and spiritual practices and yoga and all this kind of stuff, that it really helped me you know, see different perspectives and start opening up my eyes. And what did happen is I picked up Giardia, which is called Delhi Belly in India, myself and Steve as well, my partner. And of course, what you do, you go to the doctor. Came back to Ireland, go to the doctor, and we got put on antibiotics, and that was fine. One round, it really kind of helped me until it didn't, because I didn't change my lifestyle. I was, even though I'd been away and I hadn't been drinking, being back in Ireland, there was a bit of pressure to kind of to go drinking, you know. It's just it's friends, family, you know, everybody's doing it. As I said, it's people's happy place, so it's kind of strange when you're not drinking in Ireland, and people don't really know how to take that. So at that time, anyways, felt kind of obligated to drink, and but my heart really wasn't in it, because I had really I changed more than I knew actually at the time. In my ways of orientating to my life. And anyways, but I knew very little about health. So I discovered. So with the antibiotics, helped for a while, and then they stopped helping. And then I went back to England where we were living, and I got put on another set of antibiotics, another course. And about halfway through it, I was getting these pains in my stomach, and I was like, whoa, this isn't right, you know. And I just stopped the antibiotics, because I just knew this is not helping. My body is screaming here. And that was really what it took before I started looking at alternative or complementary medicines or other things. At the time I tend to look at it and go, ooh, that's all, you know, I don't know. It was like, oh, you need to be special to do all that stuff. I don't really understand it. But that's what it took, you know. And so for many of us, it takes us getting sick and ill and in a bit of a pickle before we're willing to do something different. And that's a great gift, you know. The greatest gift was me getting sick. And I know there's thousands and thousands of people who will say that. The greatest gift was getting ill, because it steered us in a certain direction. So what I realised is I had no clue about my body. I didn't even know to take yogurt for the probiotics for my gut at the time of, you know, taking the antibiotics. I had no idea. And so anyway, I started trying out all these different stuff and learning a lot, and I worked in a health shop, and so it was really good. And one of the first things I learned, which is still as valuable actually, was from this beautiful guy who was an iridologist. And he helped me understand that I needed to relax more when I was eating, because I was rushing around the place, going from work and this and that and the other, and partying and running classes and different things that I was doing, and I wasn't really relaxed when I was eating. So that was really important for me, for my digestive system. And I say that to you as well. It's really important to actually take the time to sit, give gratitude for the food, and that really on a physiological level sets our body up to receive the food and the nourishment, and it takes our energy inwards, and it's nice and relaxed, so that our body can digest and assimilate the foods that we eat in a really nice, relaxed way, rather than just, you know, in a really rushed way. And also, the more joy, the better. So being relaxed and grateful puts us in our joy, and just everything in our body just calms down and soothes our nervous system, so that we can receive the nourishment from the food. If we're rushing around, then the energy is going outwards to what we're doing, even if we're eating, and a lot of the time we don't digest that food, it sits in our gut. So there you go. So that's a good point to remember and to hopefully take on board. It's simple, but again, I think we can really overlook it, especially if we're busy. So that was something I learned then that's still as applicable to right now. However, what happened was I learned some really good stuff and really important stuff in terms of how I was eating and dieting and foods and so on. And it was really, really helpful to a point. And then I really read a lot of books about health and nutrition and lots of different ideas about food combining and you know, lots of ideas about how to eat, what's good, what's not good, liver cleanses, fasting, all that kind of stuff, loads and loads of stuff. And as I said, it was good to a point. But what happened over the months and months and months is as I tried to incorporate all these, do this, don't do that, drink water 20 minutes before meals, you know, there's all these, it became all these rules and regulations about how to eat and this is good and that's bad and da 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 da. And what happened is I became more judgmental about food than I'd ever been, and what was right and what was wrong, and it wasn't really my nature. So the more books I read, kind of the more rigid I became and less satisfied, because what happened was I was actually stressing myself out to tick all the boxes of what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating, how I should be eating, and it was like I was putting more, every time I was reading more information, I was putting more and more rules and regulations on my food, on how I was eating, all in the name of health and well-being. And so, as I said, it helped me to a point. I needed to make some changes, I needed to have some understanding and some education, but then it went too far the other way, so extremes. So I say that I've swung the pendulum in extremes. So there was the alcohol and drugs for a few years, and then the extreme was the health and the meditation and even extremes in yoga, not from the yoga, but it was the way that I was doing it. It became regimented. It became, I need to do this in order to be okay, and that's a very different. That's a very different orientation than where I am today, but it was a great learning. So what happened is I ended up getting sick. When I swung the pendulum the other way too much, I ended up getting sick. I lost a lot of weight, which of course in my teenage eyes, I would have thought that was the answer. If you lose weight, then everything works out. But I had no energy. And I would go to a yoga class, more of a power yoga class at the time, and I would fall asleep afterwards because I just was exhausted. So that was interesting, and then I came across a modality, and I did a 4-day course, and it really opened up my eyes to the beliefs and the thoughts that I had and the ideas that I had that I'd bought into. And it really opened my eyes in a big way to the power of the mind, and I'm so grateful for all my experiences, because by swinging the pendulum the other way, and then you know, from there, that led me on to this this course that I took that really opened my eyes to the power of the mind. And what I realized is that I had made the books my guru. I'd been to India and I traveled around, and I think because I've been brought up in a Catholic family in Ireland, I was quite dubious and cautious around any kind of spirituality and religious stuff, and especially around the word God. It was like, oh, and that's a whole other story. So I never really got caught up in any of that. Like some people can go to India and get caught up in all that stuff. Not me, really. I looked at it, I observed, I appreciated the spiritual devotion of people in India and different things, but I never got caught up in it. But little did I realize that I had given my power over to these books, and I had believed everything they told me over what my body was telling me. And this is the point I want to get to, is I'd stopped listening to me. I'd stopped listening to my body, and I had lost my joy in the process, and all these rules and regulations and try to get it right and I'd lost my joy in eating, in my well-being, because I was off my center. I wasn't really tuned into myself, and so this 4-day kind of modality really helped me clear out and just let go of a lot of the ways I was thinking, and a lot of the ideas, a lot of the ways I was thinking that was keeping me locked in. And the only best way I can describe it was like I took all these hooks of rules and regulations off me that I had put on myself. Must do this, must do that, da 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 da. And underneath I found me again. I found the joy bubble, the vibrant Mary Jo underneath that. And very quickly I started to put on some weight. I started to find my energy. People actually started saying, wow, Mary Jo, you've got your sparkle back again. So, which was amazing, an amazing affirmation. So that was part of my journey to understand the power of my mind and my thinking. So I wanted to just relate that to the information that I've been sharing on the wellness group. It's just here for information, for education, for interest, and I just like to remind, just to keep an openness. And I've said it in some posts, but take what feels right and leave the rest. More important, I believe, than the foods necessarily that we're eating, even though they are important. But is our joy? Is it bringing us joy? And you know, I think in truth, when we eat foods that aren't right for us, we know it, and we know we're doing something to ourselves, and we do it anyway sometimes just to, you know, fill a gap or something, or to distract ourselves from moving forward in some way, or to feel sorry for ourselves, or you know, or if we get, you know, stressed, or you know, we can use food in a lot of different ways, and I think we know it. I know I do. If I'm off, I will eat junk food, and it'll just be escapism a lot of the time, and sometimes it's just for quick fix or whatever. But I know when I'm feeling really good in me and connected and centered, I eat well for me. You know, I honor my body, I listen, I'm more in tune. So that's why I'd like to point out that more important than trying to get the foods right actually is do whatever it takes to connect into you. And that goes back to the meditation, the breathing, the simplicity of the breathing drops us into our body, so that we can listen, so that you can listen to me right now with your body, with your heart, with your sensitivity. Of the energy that you are and that I am, so we can communicate in a much bigger way, and you can hear me speak my authenticity and from my heart. At least I hope you can. And my intention is to speak to your heart as well, you know, to speak to you on a deeper level beyond my words. So that's more important, is the meditation, the breathing, taking time to meditate, to ground, to connect into you, connect into your listening deeper into yourself. So the yoga is a great pathway. It releases the tension and the stress in the body, it opens us up, it opens up our blood, so that our blood can flow around our body more easily, and the energy can move around our body, and as long as that everything's moving and feeling good, then it's easier to connect into us. Otherwise, when there's agitation in the body, there's agitation in the mind. So in a way, when we release it from the body with yoga and the stiffness and the rigidity and all that, we're also releasing it from the mind, and it opens up the spaciousness that we can listen to the heart, so that the mind's not so loud and overcrowding in a way, because the heart is a lot more subtle, it's a lot more gentle, if you like. And when our mind and our body is agitated with the thoughts and the worries and the concerns, which adds the tension and the pressure, the responsibility, the obligation, then all of that kind of, it's like it creates a blanket with its loudness, if you like, because it's getting our attention, and it covers up the whispers of the heart, but the language of the heart and the body. And of course our mind can come in and negate it. So our body can be saying, you know, I really feel like an orange, because it knows it needs the vitamin C and whatever. But then our mind is going, I just want a chocolate bar. So You know, so the meditation, the yoga practice, the gratitude, all that kind of stuff is to help drop us in that we can connect with our own deeper listening to ourselves, but ourselves, to our body. Our body is absolutely miraculous, and it has all the intelligence to heal itself. It really, really does, if we can allow it and give it a chance. So these practices and tools of the meditation, the yoga, the gratitude, and lots of other things, you know, body brushing, salt baths, all these things is to support us, to support our body, to do its thing.